Hello and welcome. I'm Al Barrows, and this is UFO Disclosure, the podcast that's meant to show an average person's reaction to all the UFO, UAP news from everywhere and anywhere. This episode of UFO Disclosure is about all the UFO media personalities who think they are preparing us for something. The truth is that they are not really preparing us for anything other than mass confusion. They have insisted the truth is too explosive to be released at once. There is a pattern in all of them of vagueness, contradiction, and total lack of clarity. Okay, so here's Jeremy Corbell, who I happen to enjoy all the stuff he puts out. But he made a statement this past January about disinformation campaign that's going to be put out on a UFO that's supposed to be approaching Earth, and it's supposed to be a national threat. Check it out.
Your government now wants you to know one truth, and that truth is that UFOs are real. They've already done told you. Sometimes when you want somebody to know a truth, it's so you can set them up to believe a lie, and that's coming. I have zero doubt that lie is coming.
What is the lie?
Specifically, you want me to say it right now, for real? Real? On camera? To be put in the show?
Yes.
Okay. Problem with that. If we tell the lie before it's told, they can adapt. That wouldn't be wise. I'll tell you privately, but I would really think about if you want to put this in your show. For real. That's a real thing I'm telling you. So will you think about it before putting it in your show?
Absolutely.
Okay. So UFOs are real, and they've been here a long time, and that's the truth. But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sent you 2 texts today with a year. Not from me. Nope. I'm not going to propagate that lie. Not going to be part of it. Not going to say it to the camera. Everybody knows. Just start paying attention. And they'll change the date, especially if they see this. Things will change. Because maybe I'm trustworthy. Maybe I'm worthy of your trust. Maybe I've told you the truth the whole way through it. Now you can verify it. If that's the case, then I'm fucking dangerous. You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated. It's been pretty clear. And it's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth. Ultimately, they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth. But why they want you to know that truth now? I hope I'm wrong, but it's terrifying. Think about it. Maybe it's good to get ahead of it. Call it out now before they do it. I'll be called crazy. That's okay.
Okay, so that was Jeremy Corbell warning us of some future misinformation that will be coming out about a national threat in the form of a UFO slowly making its way to Earth. A few days later, I was shocked to see this from Lou Elizondo.
You'll have to ask Diana that because she's far more expertise at being able to give you an answer. I can just tell you that it's going to be white hot. It's going to be all over the media. How people are going to take it, that's out of my wheelhouse. I think Diana would be far better qualified to answer that question than me because I wouldn't even know. I know it's coming, and I know that people are going to find out. They're going to know about it because it's going to be very, very public. But with that said, Diana, that's a great question. How do people prepare for?
I mean, is it that big? Is it going to be like?
Well, I don't want to cause anxiety. I mean, it's not going to be a run on Wall Street or anything, but it's major. Yeah, it's going to be, for the uninitiated, it's going to be a holy cow moment. For those who have been in this topic for a while, it's going to be fascinating, interesting, but they're probably not going to be surprised. But the other 99.9% of the population, that's a different story. And that's why I think, Diana here probably has a hell of a lot better insight to that than recommendations than I do.
Okay, so I have had conversations with people who want to ask me about how will people deal with some type of event like that, should it happen? And, especially they ask me about how will people who are religious deal with it? And I would say that for very orthodox people from different faiths, be it Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, I would say that for them, they're going to be all right because they already have a framework. And I'm talking about people who actually are, when I say orthodox, I'm talking about people who believe in the angels and believe in those things and believe in the beings that are not human, non-human intelligence, basically.
Okay, and I got that from X, and it was posted by Red Panda Koala at Red Panda Koala. And the heading reads, Lou Elizondo on an imminent large object out in the solar system headed towards Earth. And he's quoted as saying, I know it's coming, and I know that people are going to find out. They're going to know about it because it's going to be very, very public. And this was coincidentally just a couple of days after Jeremy Corbell made that statement or leaked the disinformation rumor. So is it a coincidence, or are they both talking about the same event, a large UFO headed towards Earth that'll be here sometime next year? So who are we to believe, Jeremy Corbell or Lou Elizondo? I'm already confused. I'd like to move on to an experiencer that's been in social media all week. His name is Chris Bledsoe. So Chris Bledsoe wrote this book called UFO of God, The Extraordinary True Story of Chris Bledsoe. And I'm reading from the summary here on Amazon. And the summary says, Chris Bledsoe, a deeply religious family man and successful business owner from North Carolina, was on the verge of the unthinkable after losing everything in the 2007 financial crisis and suffering from a debilitating chronic disease. Fishing along the banks of the Cape Fear River with 3 coworkers and his teenage son, he walks away from the group and cries out to God in a desperate prayer for help. Suddenly, a UFO appears and saves his life and cures him of his illness. Experiencing 4 hours of missing time, he returns to his group and finds them troubled. Terrified, they run for their lives as several UFOs chase them home. Okay, so right there, I think that's a red flag when it describes him as being desperate because of financial and health issues. That's of concern to me. If he's facing financial ruin, why not pursue a story or fabricate a story about a UFO abduction, especially when he's being taken seriously by the government and he's being put on several platforms, and then his book sells well. So Chris Bledsoe had an interview on the Sean Ryan show that was almost not aired because I think Sean Ryan didn't want to be associated with the prediction that Chris Bledsoe made on his show. Here he is.
Showed that exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter.
What will happen?
this star, well, the alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines, and it comes out that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026. And from that point forward, they started remote viewing this date. Government did. And now you hear it all over TV. 2026, that's the big date. 2027, that year, something's going to happen. Armageddon, you hear it all over, you hear.
So he's predicting this big celestial event. And later on, he mentions a name. He associates himself with Lou Elizondo.
Well, I won't say names, but.
Please do.
Well, you know Lou Elizondo, right? Lou's mentioned that date. A lot of people have.
Easter 2026.
Well, the year 2026. I gave him a specific time. And it was with Robert Grant that I told him about this alignment and all. And then he's like, oh my God. He's been looking for this ruby, this little ruby you have to find and place it between the paws of the Sphinx to make this event that he knows is going to happen in 2026. I said, Robert, it's not a ruby, it's the star of Regulus. He looks at it, he's like, oh my God, that's the king star.
So he's trying to associate his prediction, I guess, with what Lou Elizondo says is coming. And it's all dependent on this star of Regulus aligning with the Sphinx in Egypt.
So what's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host living with us, Jesus. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life, publicly. You're the first. And 1 million people's asked me this. So I think it's entirely possible that, because she told me that when the suffering of man becomes too great, that they're going to stop it and they're going to snuff out the darkness.
Okay, so that's possibly the reason why Sean Ryan delayed the showing of that podcast with Chris Bledsoe, because of Chris Bledsoe's never before heard prediction of the second coming of Christ on April of 2026. Okay, so Chris Bledsoe and his son, he has a son that has a podcast. They put out a video of an orb that his son is claiming is the best orb video ever. And it's been making its rounds around the social media. I'm going to show it to you now because Mick West, the famous debunker, has debunked this video that they posted that his son, Chris Bledsoe Jr., is claiming is the best orb video ever.
Let's take a look at this video.
Gotta get my camera stabilized.
Okay, there's the moon. It doesn't really move like a UFO. It doesn't zigzag or just very stable. This is what Mick West is saying is the ISS, or the International Space Station.
Come on, stay with it. Where'd it go? There it is, it's coming.
So, in my opinion, that's not the best orb video that I've ever seen anyway. Pretty sure that a lot of you out there feel the same way. So I have to thank Patrick from the Vetted podcast. I got that footage from his podcast, and I recommend that podcast to anybody. Okay, so I just wanted to go over the response on social media to Chris Bledsoe's appearance on the Sean Ryan Show. So on the subreddit Aliens, There's a couple of takes on the validity of Bledsoe's story, and the first of which is the possibility that Chris Bledsoe is mentally ill and is hallucinating everything. The second one is that Chris Bledsoe is a con man and is making up this whole story to sell his book and pull his family out of financial struggle. And the third option is interesting. The third possibility is that Chris Bledsoe is being used by the CIA or NASA as a psyop for whatever reason. And the fourth possibility is that if this story is true and he is genuinely being contacted, then this story is astronomically important and should be known by everyone. Okay, so I want to end with Jeremy Corbell, because Jeremy Corbell is now teasing yet another whistleblower. Apparently, the new whistleblower that Jeremy Corbell is teasing is the author of the Immaculate Constellation document.
For months, we've been prepping to get this document on congressional record, and that it wouldn't be thrown out, it wouldn't be questioned. You get to meet the author eye to eye. Then you can judge. Then you can judge if what this guy's telling you is accurate information and not like passage material or some kind of psyop. But to get to that point, I needed the trust of the members. And members, by the way, when I say, hey, by the way, I have embedded somebody in my camera crew, and they're actually a first-hand whistleblower, whatever you consider first-hand.
Brilliant, by the way. People have kind of overlooked that you said that during the show, that you snuck somebody in with your film crew who is the author of the Immaculate Constellation.
Right. It wasn't so cloak and dagger. It was just like roll with us in, right? But then saying to these members, like, this is an unscheduled part of our meeting. Nobody else can be in the room. I'm saying this like Rep Luna. Nobody else can be in the room. Like, if you trust me, this is, let's do this. I want you to meet somebody. And absolutely, without hesitation, to their great credit, Rep Luna, Rep Burchett, and at the time Rep Mace, they were like, let's go, tell me, show me, what's up, right? So that was kind of neat to see that go down and to be able to be there for that kind of vetting and talking, and said, please, keep this confidential. We don't know where this is going. Again, it hadn't gone out yet through Schellenberger's article about it all. Yeah. So
that was not out yet
when this is before the article came out. This was the behind the scenes shit, right? To try to get onto congressional record the statement of a witness or the witness themselves to talk, and the witness would have been willing, the whistleblower would have been willing to do it, didn't want to, he doesn't want to.
But as a duty.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as a feeling of real duty, beyond what I think people understand. Yeah, he thinks it's important, man. So he'd be willing to do it. I think you'll hear from him soon,
Jeremy.
So just saying, no, I can't predict the future for other people, but I'm just saying, I believe that you're going to be able to talk with this person on your own soon and judge it on merit. Again, it's a small part of the UFO puzzle, this one program, Immaculate Constellation, but it's really important.
Okay, so that was Jeremy Corbell, and I got that clip from Patrick's Vetted podcast. And there he's again teasing the new whistleblower, or the author of the Immaculate Constellation classified document that Congress has now, and it has all the details about a program for reverse engineering ET craft. Just want to make sure you guys see section 1 of the document. Okay, this is section 1 of the Immaculate Constellation document, and it says that it is an unacknowledged special access program, or USAP, established following the disclosure of the ATIP programs by Lou Elizondo in 2017. Upon disclosure to Congress, it was determined that this USAP and its collateral information have not been lawfully reported to Congress. And I might add that it has since been reported, and Congress does have a document, the Immaculate Constellation. The UAP phenomenon, by its very nature, is confusing and deceptive. Some insist an alien invasion is imminent. Others warn of a false flag invasion staged by humans to manipulate us. Some say UFOs are time travelers. Others say they are spiritual entities, angels, demons, and crypto-terrestrials. Chris Bledsoe claims that in April of 2026, we'll have a second coming of Jesus Christ. How can the general public take all of this seriously? When the warnings contradict each other at every turn, the natural response is going to be skepticism. Most people already accept the possibility of UFOs or extraterrestrial life. If these UFO social media personalities know the truth, they should share it clearly and without obfuscation. And if they don't, they should stop pretending, because right now they're making the situation worse, not better. My name is Al Barrows. This has been UFO Disclosure. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Thanks for listening to my podcast.
Your massive announcement that you teased earlier in the week, where you said, I'm going to do something that will change the face of the American government forever. Here's the exact language of your post that went thermonuclear. I have an announcement next week that will impact the entire nation. Press conference to be announced soon. Everyone's wondering if it's aliens, but maybe it goes even deeper than that.
Yeah,
can you tell us?
I think it's bigger than that. I think, without getting too much into the details, and the date will be posted soon. You'll find that date for the press conference. I'd actually encourage everyone to tune in, and we're going to be opening it up, if we can, to some independent journalists as well. But I think that for far too long, people have been lied to by their government, and I think the way that you regain trust and you really help restore the nation, and I think bring back not just, I think, hope, but also, and remember, hope is contagious, but you really help it to secure it for future generations. I think that you have to have a fully transparent government. And so I won't get too much more into the details, but we're going to be doing something really big. So I am happy that I was entrusted with this, and I'm going to be doing some good stuff with some incredible people, and I'll leave it at that.